Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're working on our window manager today, a Wayland window manager. Look at this bad boy. We got our window manager running in a window manager. We have two Wayland clients running on this thing. Wowzer, I can drag them, I can move them around. How exciting. And today I just want to keep going, right? We're finally in a state where we can kind of make good progress on this stuff. And so I want to continue making that progress if we can. So something that we can't do right now is reorder windows. So I want it to when I click on this guy, um, you know, they switch order. I want to be able to close these programs, right? So press an X in the fucking corner and have them disappear. I probably want it so that if I click on something in one of these programs, we can in fact see something happen. Maybe do some window resizing. And if we get through all of that too quickly, we can try to add the title bar. We can add the title of the program to the title bar or something. But we will see. We will see how it goes. Wait, so this won't be a tiling window manager? Ew, no. I'm gonna use normal window managers for normal people. Yeah, let's start implementing some stuff and see what happens. Window ordering. So, I guess something that we are not really clear on right now is, do clients know if they're focused? Maybe we don't have to inform them right now, but that might be an interesting thing to keep in our heads for later. But for now, we should just be able to bring stuff to the foreground, I think. So we kind of have the overall architecture of our app is we kind of have this state, compositor state core. And in here we have kind of the state is accessed by the renderer as well as by input and each Wayland connection. All of these guys can modify state, and what happens is the idea is that the renderer he doesn't really talk to any of these guys. He just looks at the current state and renders what he sees. Then input will modify the state as he needs to, and the connections will modify their state as they need to. And so really we should probably just have some way where when we click on something in here, we just reorder the windows such that the first ones that show up are the first ones we care about, right? So on mouse down, probably we want to do something if we click on the window border, we want to go into drag state. Wonderful. But before we do that, we probably want to move to front. And then this is sketchy because this will invalidate the reference to this thing. So maybe then we have to be careful because this renderable, this is copied out, I'm pretty sure. No. So yeah, we have to be careful because if we reorder these things, they'll break. So maybe I guess we kind of break out of this loop, I think. Yeah, we want to maybe we do it like this. It's like function move window under cursor to front or something, right? And then he will maybe return the renderable as maybe his new handle. Yeah, that's not crazy. Something like this. And then here we can kind of call maybe this there might not be one under here, right? So now we can kind of iterate over all of them. And we can say return null if we get to the end and we didn't find anything. Okay. Here we can hit test everything. the way we were doing it before. And we can just kind of say, ugh. Here we kind of want to know how we hit this thing. So like maybe we can like say this is like a cursor move result or something, or a window foreground result or something, and we want to say like, you know, uh like location, and maybe this is like a geometry window border. Ew. Like location or something, you know, that just kind of feels like something. Uh, would you recommend a beginner attempt writing a window manager from scratch? I mean, I think that like you could always try. It might be kind of hard. You can also kind of like pick how hard you want to make the problem, right? I've made the problem particularly difficult by myself by kind of limiting what libraries I'm willing to use. But I don't know if like I think if you'll try, you might learn something and you might learn that it's hard, and I think that that's like a valuable process no matter what. So I wouldn't I wouldn't shy away from it, but I also wouldn't be like consider yourself a failure if you decide that it's not for you once you try a little bit. You know? You know? Um is this what I want? Sure. So then if we like hit this thing in the title quad, we return handle is renderable handle, and the location is like title bar, right? And then we do like if we hit the trim like this, uh we can do something like this. And I guess we might want to distinguish between hitting like the actual trim and the surface, but for now it doesn't matter. So we'll just kind of call this like surface. Something like that. And then we actually shouldn't return renderable handle, right? Because we're supposed to move this thing to the front. So here this is like self store like renderables move to front like this. Yeah, here we go. That seems kind of reasonable. Right, so we find which one we hit, then we say move that shit. Yeah, great. And now we just need to implement move to front. And then here we're going to call something like if move window cursor to front, move window under cursor to front. I guess it's kind of more like, I don't know, active window or something. This returns a window foreground result or something. If we successfully did something, we look at the active window location, and if it's title bar, we set the drag state. You know? His ID is the handle that we got. And the last location is the current cursor position. Cool. Then we have surface, and in this scenario, we do nothing. But, you know, if we were to be actually propagate input, here we would kind of figure out where we're propagating, you know? Feels kind of good. Cast what you're using for your notes. It's just NeoVim. Just NeoVim. Okay. Cool. So now we just have to implement this like renderables move to front thing and this like location thing. Okay. Location here is an enum of title bar And surface. Okay, easy. And then we need renderables move to front. So I don't know how to do this yet. And this will return wherever this thing. So I guess this is kind of like a rotate of some form. Okay, so like there's kind of like this underlying storage class that we're using here that's kind of like a little bit complicated. It's kind of like hand wavy. We're glossing over some details here. But you have like an array of things, right? You know, you have like a guy in here, and a guy in here, and a guy in here, right? And maybe as like windows are opened and closed, they kind of get like appended to the list, right? But at some point you might like close a window, right? So maybe you close this window. This turns into like a little hole, right? And the idea is that like later, when you add a new guy, you could use this hole, right? Or, you know, because this structure is kind of allocated in chunks, you also might want to like defrag every once in a while, right? So also we kind of like hand out indexes to these guys, right? So like someone might want to like say, hey, I know that I am this surface, and so when I come in and I have like a new buffer, I will update this guy, right? I will feed this surface my new buffer. So if we want to do something like reorder these guys, which should happen like fairly infrequently, we need some way to update the people who care about this guy. So we have this kind of like concept of you can do a swap in this thing, and the structure will, like, as we are like moving things around, defragging, whatever, we have this kind of like interface that knows how to update everyone, right? So you kind of feed in this move context, right? And he knows how to like update people after a movement. So if we want to do something like bring this guy to the front, it's kind of like a rotate operation where we have to do this like move notification as we move guys around, right? And like theoretically, right, this rotate, it's not really like a full rotate, because in this scenario, you only need to push this guy forward and this guy forward to make room, right? Because there's like a hole here that you can leverage. So I think we could kind of on the storage class implement a move to front. I think that's kind of fair. Or, I mean, we could still call it rotate, but you know that you don't, like in this scenario, every time you rotate, you're not actually like perfectly moving every guy. You've got, you know, like semantically, I guess, if you're trying to keep an order of things, you're kind of, this operation where we kind of put a hole here, move these guys over and like put them like this, that's kind of like semantically the same thing, right? You've got the same ordering that a normal rotate would get you in a vector. So I think that's like, we could implement it that way. And then that way you can kind of you can rotate anywhere, which is nice, right? Not just to the front. We will happen to rotate to the front, but you don't have to. So like, what does like an API for rotate usually look like? First, middle, last. What is middle here? Range of elements to rotate. The middle element should appear at the beginning of the rotated range. I feel like you don't need 3 things here. I feel like I'm confused about why there's last. Because I would think that if you are rotating from somewhere in the middle to somewhere at the beginning, like you'll hit the middle again. Well, no? I feel like, because C++ iterators are not slices, they don't know the length. But I would think that you're guaranteed to hit the middle guy, but maybe not, sure. Okay, so this is going to be like storage rotate. And we are going to say that we want, I guess it's kind of like rotate left, right? Or rotate, I don't know like what the right word is. Rotate right? And like from like range of start to end? Something like that. Best try is looking at the C++ APIs and doing the opposite. Yeah, using that as a reference is fucking crazy. I think the C++ APIs are like usually kind of dog shit. But this seems reasonable, right? Uh, I guess it's kind of like maybe like rotate. Oh god, I just need like if I had two APIs on a vector, rotate right and rotate left. That rotate right item from to maybe and rotate left from to. What would you expect these APIs to do? Let's just add, this is like an okay thing to ask the idiot for, I guess. Um. Oh yeah, I guess you're right that you could have an amount of rotations. That's pretty reasonable, yeah. Rotate right. He's expecting move the element at index 2 to become index from. Shifting elements in from 2 months. So before A, B, C, D, E, from 1 to 4, he's expecting. Oh, I see. He's saying when you say rotate right from like in a range, he's expecting a rotate right of some amount. He's assuming 1 of that whole range, which I think is reasonable. I could get behind that. I think that's a reasonable way to view this problem. So we're saying rotate everybody in this range from by some amount. We can also add the amount as an option in here. Let's see, like, does that still work with our definition of the problem? Range start, maybe? Maybe, let's think about this. So if I have something like, you know, this, and we want to rotate this subrange, I think that works. I think that makes sense. So I think we can call this rotate right, and that's fine. So so I guess we are going to do something like look for holes from look for maybe we'll call it rotate 1 right is like an okay name for this, and then we'll see if there's like a better we might want to look at how do I say this? We might have like a multi distance rotate later, but I think I don't really know how I want to handle like hole tracking there. So we'll just say rotate 1 right for now, and that'll be good enough, right? So we're gonna like look for first hole after range start, shift everyone from range start to first hole. If no first hole, then it's a full rotate. And we might need to stash someone in like a secret spot temporarily. I guess we can guarantee a hole if we like remove range end, because we definitely want this guy to move to the front no matter what. Right? So like punch a hole at range end. -1 because it's exclusive, maybe. Maybe we like maybe inclusive. Punch a hole at range end. Rotating to the front by performing end swaps is not a good strategy. You have to though, right? Because I'm not like if you're trying to preserve order, you have to move each guy. You have to move every guy between those ranges like at least once. Why not just move front? Because like we might want to do sub ranges. I think like that's kind of like a more generic thing, and it's like free to do, right? I think. Yeah. So punch a hole at range end. Then we look for first hole after range start, which is guaranteed to exist now because we've punched a hole here. Then we kind of go backwards, moving everybody by one from the back to the front. And then we're chilling, I think. It's not clear bubbling up to the front is the best strategy. Oh, sure. Yeah, you might be better to take them on the list than bubble the others. Yeah, that's how I think I want to do it. Because you only want to call like the notification logic one time. So I want to do it this way. Okay, so punch a hole at range end. Self tombstones set range. I guess we want like start index is range start. How do we like turn these handles into indexes? That's like a thing that we do sometimes. I think it's like a helper function. Index from handle. Nice. End index is like this. Something like this. We set the end index like this. You know, and we take the object at range end out. You know, so new front or something, we'll call it. Okay. So then we like iterate from range start index like this. Does it really matter if the surfaces are out of order in the storage though? Do they not keep track of their index by some other mechanism? I mean, sure. I mean, you could do it the other way too, right? Where you sort their handles somewhere, but like I don't really know why I would do it that way when I could just keep them in order. I think it's like effectively the same. I can just like avoid the extra tracker. I don't really see a difference. I guess like technically like moving these things could be more expensive, and like I guess like holding like the reference tracking is a little bit harder. Yeah, but like yeah, so you could have like window order somewhere, I guess what you're saying. And this is like a list of handles. And you iterate this thing. But then you still have like this, you still have to implement the same thing where you like do a rotate in there. But like, yeah, is that better? Maybe that's better. Yeah, I could buy that. I could buy that that's better. Yeah. You know what? I think you're right. I think that's probably simpler. And maybe, like... Yeah, I could buy that. I could buy it. We'll do it that way. I'm on your side. Okay, so that means our renderables now have an order field, right? Yeah, so this is going to be a list of handles like this. And every time we inject into this thing, we need to put that handle at the front. I wasn't planning you should change strategy. Definitely don't want to blame when this goes bad. I mean, I have a brain. I can think about it a little bit. Sorting on every render so naively every frame seems strictly worse than sorting once when the user infrequently makes a change. Yeah, I agree with that, but it's like, what do we sort? We could either sort the actual storage, or we could sort the order of the storage. You know what I mean? Where I think sorting the order makes it is like a little bit easier. I think. Because you don't have to update all the references to these guys if you sort them separately. And then you're paying the cost of like a little bit of out of order indexing when you're making your render calls, right? But like probably there's so much cost for to render each surface that the out of order indexing is like insignificant, would be my guess, right? And so really, I'm really just optimizing for simplicity of implementation instead. And then this guy will have the extra cost of having to maintain this order array, but I think that's easier. I guess desync of this thing is going to be a pain in the ass, actually. I'd like rather not worry about the desync. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go back to the original idea. I think that this could, I'm like 50-50 on which one's easier now. And so given 50-50, it's like removing the extra tracker, I'm maybe more happy with. Maybe. I'm not like, super, super worried about it either way. Var whole index is start index, and then we say while we look for this guy, tombstone, if tombstone we break, and then else whole index plus equals 1. Okay, so we have our whole now. Then in here, we do something like, could always use a linked list and the rotates team. Yeah, I mean, like this, I think that optimizing a little bit for the render case is like a little nice, right? Like in reality, it probably doesn't matter at all, right? In reality, none of this matters. But I think that like rotates are pretty infrequent, right? Any like change in state where I'm willing to take a little bit of like cost, right? Because it doesn't, we're going to be rendering like 144 times per second, right? But like we're only going to be like modifying these like orders every like maybe like on like the minute intervals, right? Because I'm going to be like in Firefox. Like if you're like clicking between windows a lot, you're talking like maybe once every few seconds, right? So I think optimizing a little bit for the rendering thing is better. Which is what Piers 03 is saying, right? That's kind of how I feel, but it doesn't matter in reality. In reality, none of this matters because again, I think the cost of doing the texture import and render like clobbers anything that look about this. Like, but whatever. Okay, so, we go, while whole index is greater than new front or start index, I guess, we do like, I guess it's like we set the whole index here to false, and then we do the movements. And as long as nothing fails, we're fine. Right? So then we go like, whole index minus equals 1 or something. And then we move from, this thing needs a move context. And how does this like move context work normally? Notify moved. Bump, 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 bump. So we move from whole index minus 1 to whole index. My mental model is that rearranging inside contiguous memory is very cheap. Caches are big and prefetch is good. Yeah, but if the objects are big, then it can get kind of bad. But yeah, I agree. It's probably fine. Like our objects here are like relatively large, right? But like you could always fix that by like allocating them instead later. We can always just like change the thing to have pointers. In which case, then you don't need this handle updating though. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think this is fine. maybe the answer is like just keep your shit small. All right. So here we have to do the movement first, right? So it's like self objects get pointer of whole index is equal to get pointer of whole index -1. You know, this is like one of those things where this could be more efficient if we somehow manage to leverage subslices in objects, but whatever. This feels like kind of right. Then start index will be the whole, and we say, you know, objects get pointer at start index is equal to new front. And then we probably have to do our the last notify moved of oh, hold on. This might be a problem, actually. Hold on. So if there are no holes, like, if I have a handle to this guy and this guy, right? If I just move this guy over, then we'll have two people pointing to the same guy, which is a problem, right? So we actually, when we first take this guy out, we actually have to move him somewhere valid and tell the caller that he's gone. Like, tell whoever cares about his position that he's gone somewhere else temporarily. I think it really depends on like how we expect this thing to be used. And this is like used in other places, but maybe like if we could notify many movements at once, that would kind of fix this problem a little bit. But like, okay, let's see. Like, what does this do on movement? We look at his source info and we update his handle. Okay, so the only thing that we're really guaranteeing at this point, no, right? Because this interface implies this interface implies that we had an old handle that we could use as like an index into something, right? So like you could maybe have like a hash map that has like the handles, the mappings of handles to like some other state or something like that. And so the implication here is that you have like each handle points to a unique object. And this violates that if there are no holes to leverage, which means that when we punch a hole here, we actually need to do like we need to like make a new object here temporarily. You know? So val is this. So we kind of move them over there, and then like we're temporarily go like move context notify moved from range end to temp handle. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's like something like this, and then we, at the end of this thing, the last thing we do is this guy comes from temp, and we notify moved again from temp handle to start range start. Nice. And then we release. Why is this guy using an expansion allocator here? Oh, I see. Because by releasing this guy, we put him in a free list that's grown by 1, maybe. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, sure. So probably acquire probably also needs one of these. Yeah. There we go. Okay, sure. Weird. Little bit strange, but we can kind of make it work. There's like a non-zero chance this works. Non-zero. There is a very high chance that this doesn't work. But okay, so it's like move move last element to a temporary out of range area. So that he stays, so that everyone has a valid handle during moving, while moving. Then we move everybody. I feel like there might be a leak in here or something. I feel like there's like some tombstone that we have to. I'm thinking. Oh yeah, we handle this here. Okay, so it's like find first hole. We do not have to rotate the whole range. Just rotate until a hole shows up. Okay. Then it's like we set a tombstone above. We need to clear one now. This might be the one we just set to true, but also might not be. Okay. Reasonable. Do you have to move the rest? You only bubble the clicked window and the rest will still be in order. But like, we need to rotate them all so that they preserve order, right? Otherwise, you can't just do like a single swap. I don't think. You want everybody who's below to stay in the same order that they were. I think. You know, move everyone but the last guy and tell whoever cares about it, and then move back from temp spot into beginning and release. There we go. That like might work. We probably need to write a test for this. This is like rotate 1 right. You have fragmentation, but then you skip those in iteration, no? But I think that the fragmentation, but they will stay in the same order. But we have to preserve the order, no? Am I missing what you're asking? Like what I'm trying to do is, you know, you have some guys, you know, happy, dead, happy, happy, right? If I want, we'll draw it specifically at the front so that it makes more sense in this context. Okay. So we're like, hello, can I, okay. So we click this window, right? Which means that he needs to move to the front. What I am trying to implement here is this guy moves here, this guy moves to the front, right? However, there's like this like degenerate case where there are no holes, right? So in the case where there's no holes, we have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just because of the way that we like notify our callers or notify people who care about our locations how we're changing, I have to move this guy out of the way first, then move everyone forwards, then move him back to the front, right? That way everybody stays in order and everyone gets like a single update of where they're going to go, except for the last guy who gets double updated. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. We presumably can't insert the start cheaply. Yeah, we don't have, which is maybe, I mean, that's a really good point though. If you just reverse the order of the list, all of this goes away, right? That's way better, right? You just say that the shit at the front is the stuff you care about. And then we already have defrag logic. So if you insert at the end and it causes like big problems, then like we call defrag and that will like automatically fix it up for us. Does defrag preserve order? It does, right? Or is our thing stupid? It looks like we're trying to preserve order. I think. Because here we're iterating. We keep going find next present. Oh no, defrag doesn't preserve order, so this whole thing is fucked. Oh yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Our defrag doesn't preserve order. So this is, we do have to just sort externally. Oh, yeah. And we fucking have a scramble. Yeah, wait, this whole. Okay, we go back. We flip flop again. We flip flop again. Fuck doing it inline. External indexes. We're back. We're back to fucking sorting externally. I forgot how this thing was designed. Fuck this shit, dude. Fuck this. External sorting, baby. External sorting. Damn it, who wrote that? Yeah, who did this? How dare we? Oopies. That different code looks way more complicated than it needs to be. I don't know, man. I did whatever made sense when I did it. There might be you might be missing a little bit of context as well. There's, I don't know if it's that crazy. It's trying to do like the least amount of moves and free the least amount of blocks, or like only do whatever. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's fine. I don't like bubbling. Okay. All right, so do we have this? I feel like we do. I feel like we should. Do we not? I could have sworn that we fixed this at some point where we added the, yeah, runtime segment list configurable unmanaged. What a great name. Oh, I see. Jesus Christ, dude. God damn it. There we go. That's a fucking name of a structure if I've ever seen one. Are you remaking Wayland or what? Like, I guess remaking is not really quite the right term. We're like writing a compositor, which means kind of. Like typical num Windows is 100. Max num Windows 10,000, which is crazy. We'll never hit that. Okay, something like this. Something like this. I don't know, man. I don't know. You might still want to keep the order in reverse, though. That's actually a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. So what do we do here? It's like, every time we add something, we do something. I don't know what yet. We push renderable. We do self-renderables order. This guy. Okay. Then on removal, surely we have to do something as well. Oopsies, what the fuck did I just do? On removal, surely we have to do something as well. Who does that? Remove. So here, I guess it's like order. Order iterator is self order iter while order iter next. Oh, but then like fucking movement of this thing is a pain in the ass too. We could just fix it so that we like have defrag ordered or something. I think that we just picked like the wrong storage type for this at some point. But we'll try this and see where this goes. If order iterator, if val inner is equal to handle inner or something, we do like Jesus Christ, dude. I'm thinking. What's the problem now? It's just that like every time we remove now, we have to search the whole, we have to do like this linear search of the order list. Like, if we have like objects kind of like located like this, right? And we're like doing a defrag operation, as we move these things, our like order list, we have to like walk the whole list every time to find the handle that is associated with this thing, unless it back references the order. Which I'm not the biggest fan of. Yeah, that's not ideal. How do I, like, it seems like just doing our defrag operations in a way that preserves order is probably the play here. Probably. The other thing you can do that's like stupid. The other thing we could do is stupid. Just use C. I mean, C isn't the problem. We'd have the same problems. What if we just store the order? What if we just store the fucking order in the surface? Maybe that's what I originally was thinking. If we just store the order in there, we can do texture import in one pass. And in that pass, we will automatically be able, we can probably place these guys in a sorted array very easily. Yeah. Then that's just 2 iterations of the list every frame, which is fine. We can just do that. Let's just fucking do that. I just didn't even consider that's an option for us. And that makes everything really fucking easy. We should have just done this from the start. Wow. Idiots. Idiots, idiots, idiots. Okay. Idiots being me, only me, because obviously you guys uh, don't have the full context. So here we just do this. Yeah. Okay, so then our move to front, when we push this thing, I think our order, can we do largest means on top, right? Then when we add a renderable, wherever the fuck we do that, push renderable, we have his like order is renderables count. Right? Maybe -1 here. -1. Okay. So we throw that in there. Then all we have to do to move to front. So here, handle, we don't do any movement anymore. This handle is stable. So this is like not, this is just doing hit testing. And it's like, we just have to iterate over these things. We have to iterate the whole list once. And then check if the value of each thing is... Hold on. So we're going to have a bunch of guys. Kind of in arbitrary order, it doesn't really matter. And each one is going to say my depth, right? So I'm like going 1, 3, 7, 4, 5, 6, or whatever, right? I say, I want to move 4 to the front, right? So 4 gets ID 7 now. And so I guess it's like, we iterate everybody, and we say, if greater than 4, sub 1. Yeah. So it's like, move to front, and I guess we will take like the depth value of this thing, I think. Or like this thing. Honestly, link list are the way to go here. You won't have more than 50 windows open. Yeah, it might be. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. But it's, I think refactoring to linked list is maybe not what I want to do here either. I don't know. We have to think about it. Also, I think that like kind of practicing how practicing this type of storage is like kind of good. I should just be familiar with like how I want to do this stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a, it's not too bad. If renderable like val order is, what do we say, greater than order? Renderable val order minus equals 1. And then we say, else if render, I think we actually do it by handle. I think it's better to do it by handle because then we start. Yeah. Order is self renderable storage at handle dot get at handle order, and then we subtract all these guys. I guess we kind of say like to move is this guy. Yeah. Here we go. We're fucking getting somewhere, guys. We're getting somewhere. And then to move order is equal to handle, like self renderables storage count. Maybe -1. Yeah, something like this. Jesus Christ, what a pain in the ass. We finally got there. Okay. So then did we need to refactor this thing the way it was? Like, maybe not, right? Notify mouse down. So we hit test this thing. I guess it's fine. So this could just be called like, you know, find hit window or something. Find clicked window. There we go. Res, and then we say move to front res handle. Okay, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. If all that works, we'll see. Then in rendering, I can't get over const things being modified. That's odd to me. Pointers. That's the like it's a const pointer, so the pointer can't change, but the values that the pointer points to can be. Okay, so now all we have to do is we do like 2 passes on iteration or on rendering, right? The first pass is to is just to like put them in order. And you could do the textures at the same time, but like whatever. You know, renderables sorted is going to be self dot compositor state. No, this is a. Do I have a scratch allocator in here? We should. We can just add one. Scratch. Boom. Then on render, you know, we checkpoint our scratch allocator, and we store it later, so we don't have to think about it. Is it like plenty fast in the context of the teacher? Yeah, I think so. Let's fucking yoinkies. Renderable, like num renderables here. And what are these? These are going to be, we could just like have these as like handles, or we could try to, I think that's probably fine. We're good enough for now. Good enough for now, probably. Probably something like this. Then, yeah, this is fine. Okay, so then we have like 4 renderables sorted here. We like look at the handle here, and then we have like renderable is renderables storage get by handle or something. There we go. We'll figure that out for now. Depth here is now kind of owned by the renderable. When you say renderables, do you mean paint? I don't really know. It's like a window, I think, at this point, is kind of like the best way to talk about it. Okay, so it's like renderables sorted at item depth is equal to item handle or something. And then renderable here. Maybe something like this. There we go. Sure. And then the depth doesn't have to go in here, but we can just do that anyways. And then here we just have to be a little bit careful. We want them to go in reverse order, right? So it's like num renderables minus here. And it's not depth, this is order now. So here our depth is num renderables minus, I guess, is how we would want to represent this. So we can kind of say that like depth here is renderable. Yeah. Num renderables minus renderable dot order. Boom. That seems reasonable-ish. I don't fucking know, man. We're really kind of jumping around here. Doesn't depth need to be 0 between 0 and 1? Wasn't that mentioned earlier? Yeah, we divide by num renderables internally in one of these functions. So it's like kind of fine. Okay. There's like a non-zero chance that works. Non-zero. Not good. Scary. All right, this was broken because index 2, len 2 when we add two guys. We probably forgot a -1 somewhere. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let's launch a second guy here. Let's launch a second guy here. There's supposed to be 2 windows running right now. But clearly that's not happening. But what if we do this again? Okay. Something is broken. Something's definitely broken. But like, there's some sort of ordering thing that's working correctly. But I think we're missing one. I think we're not rendering everything. I don't know. Something seems wrong. Something seems wrong. So let's, can we just dump the fucking state every frame? Let's just like do this, I guess. Something like this. Let's just print all the sort. Orders. Need a test. Nah. Okay. Orders. So the orders do look correct here to some extent. Right? So if I click on this one, it's 1, 0, then I kind of drag them around. Orders. Like we are seeing 2 independent things. Right? We don't do that there. I mean, sometimes we do. Just not all the time. Oh. We have to do the same thing for hit testing, I guess, on click. Right? Yeah, we do have to do the same thing on hit test. But then also, like, it feels like we're not rendering them all. You know, so rendering this guy. Let's just double check this. Because something feels wrong about that. It feels like I'm only seeing one. It feels like I'm only seeing one. Oh, here we go. Rendering. Okay. Interesting. So it does feel like we are rendering both windows. Them both being the monkey is confusing right now. Can we make it so that like one of the windows isn't the fucking monkey? Can we make the other one? Uh. Oh boy, it's 11 p.m. I'm going to go sleep. Nighty night. Do we have like? Can I run? Uh. Our demo app. Source GUI Ziggo bin demo. Yeah, okay, we can. So can we just do this? Whoa. Oops. Oops. Okay. 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 Interesting. Hmm. Oh, here we go. Wait, this is a good clue. That's a really good clue. It's not rendering them all. It must be when we, like, do render sorted. I feel like... I'm missing something, I think. Yeah, it feels like it's only doing the foreground one, right? So, are we writing out of range here? So we can kind of do this. We're moving this guy to here. Let's kind of see how that plays out. Okay. Uh... 1 to 0, 0 to 1. Rendering 0, rendering 1. What the fuck is going on? Okay, I want to turn off, like, this sorting code here. Can we literally just say, like, as we go through these, fucking just put each one of these at, like, its index? Like, what am I fucking missing here? Just fucking keep it in the order that it was in before. Fuck it. Blaze it. I plus equals 1. Like, just fucking run my shit like this. It's still doing it like that. So it's like almost unrelated to these changes. It feels like. Okay. Is it like failing to render? No. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Dude, what in the fuck is going on? Oh, the depth here could be wrong? Hold on. I think before we were kind of doing this. Ah, there it is. Okay, wait, we've got somewhere. So it was the calculation of depth here, which is fucked. So num renderables, maybe I forgot a -1 here. That seems like the type of shit that I would have done. Seems like the type of shit I would have done. There we go. We're so back, kind of. So now we just have to bring the ordering shit back. Just bring the ordering shit back. So renderables sorted. And it's technically going to work now. It's going to be slightly inefficient with the GPU rendering, so it's better to put them in order intentionally. So this is, like this. What the fuck is going on here? What were we doing before? It's like we look at the item renderables sorted at what the fuck am I missing? Oh, val order minus one. Okay, here we go. And then the depth is here. We've kind of already computed that thing. Oopsies. Okay, I think this works. So we sort them. The depth is just the value in the sorted order, the index in the sorted order. And the sorted order is like inverse of the ordering field. Let's see. Okay, so that feels like it's working to some extent. The hit testing logic is broken. So I think that this stuff all needs to kind of come out. This, like, sorting shit, we kind of want, like, get sorted here. Get sorted handles, maybe. Like this. Handle like this. And then we get this stuff comes here. Boom, boom. We say self composer state renderables get sorted handles with our scratch allocator. Renderables sorted is this. Bang, bang, boom. Num renderables here is storage count. Boom. Boom, boom. We allocate our return shit, and then we return that. Boom. Okay, easy. And then on hit testing, we just do the same shit. So find clicked window, we want self renderables get sorted handles with scratch. And then we do, you know, checkpointer allocator, defer, restore this thing, easy peasy. We get the sorted handles. And then we go for handles. Yeah. Renderable is self-renderable, storage, get handle, boom. Oh boy, we're fucking getting somewhere, baby. We're getting somewhere. Probably try here. And then handle like this. Are we fucking there? Close. This thing can fail now, so find click window has a try on here. Which goes in brackets because, you know, it's just the way we go. Notify mouse down now can fail. So whoever calls that is going to be mad. So we try here, which is allowed. All right. Okay. I think that finally works. Yeah, that feels pretty decent. So we do have to do dual pass. Test with more than 2 windows now. Yeah, I mean, sure. I think it's fine, though. But yeah, we can just go like, boom, boom, boom. I guess let's do this. For in range 0 to 10. Yeah. You know, this feels kind of right. This feels kind of right. Boom, 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 boom. All right. All right, cool. Cool. Sorry, I probably just killed Bit right there with that text spamming in the background, but that feels pretty good. 115. This took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. Let's just keep moving on. Let's do window close. All right, so we need to make it so that when we click in the fucking corner, something happens. So I guess where that kind of belongs, I guess first we should do whip window ordering. What we should do is in our like window border concept, we can add like another quad here for close quad. Right? And he will like be somewhere in the title bar. He's gonna be very similar to the title bar quad, I guess. Almost fill the same area, but his width is going to be maybe like fixed at some width, at some size, maybe. You know, something like this. And his X position now is going to be like surface CX plus, you know, the width of this thing over 2 plus the trim width over 2. No, plus the trim size. This gets us to like the right border of the window minus the close width over 2. This is where this guy's kind of centered, I think. And let's kind of just render that thing red temporarily. Just as like a way to check if that is correct. So here somewhere, maybe before we render the window trim, we'll say render window close, and maybe this is like we'll call this like suborder or something. Maybe. This will be like, you know, plus equals suborder over, you know, max suborder or something. I don't know. Max, you know, const max suborder is 10 or something. And we'll do like an assert here that suborder is less than max suborder. Okay. So now we can kind of be like, okay, so the trim here is kind of rendered at like extra depth 1 usually, but then we can do the close button a little bit in front. Something like this, right? And can we actually call this like render quad? Render solid quad or something, maybe? And maybe he takes in a color, right? Maybe? I don't know. We're really fucking spitballing here. Boom, boom. And then, you know, we'll make this like blue, like yellow or something. Maybe white, just so that it's like easy to see. No square button. We'll get there. We'll get there. But for now, let's just see if our like idea of where this thing is correct. Close, right? First of all, let's remove all of these fucking extra processes from the list. And then we need to make this bad boy fatter, right? So I guess that's what you're saying when you say square, right? It's like the height of the thing should be the same as the width, I guess. So the close width is just the same as the title bar height, I guess. Makes most sense. Maybe it will be a little fatter or something later, but this is fine. And so when we click this, we need to close the window or something. Whoa, wait, hold on. Does it look a little bit off, or am I... I guess it looks off because I put it right up. I feel like maybe it should be in from the trim. Just feel it like something. It just looks kind of off. Like I can't really place it, but does that look less off? I think I want it to be shorter as well, to be honest. Not that it really matters, but it's just like something, it's just bothering me. Like I kind of feel like there should be border on the top and bottom as well or something. Kind of feel like it. Now it's like hovering over the top. What the fuck did I just do? Oh, oops. Oops. Put it in the wrong spot. Yeah, that looks more reasonable to me. That looks much more reasonable to me. Okay. So, when we close this thing, what are we going to do? I don't know. But when we are hit testing our click, we need to do something. So find clicked window. And this location now is going to have close, right? And here we're going to have to do something. I don't know what yet. Find clicked window is going to first check the close quad. Right? That's easy. He's like literally just like check the close quad, then check the title quad, then check everything else. Easy. Easy. Okay? So then if we close, what are we going to do? Probably we like look at the renderables, you know, at this handle, and we look at the source info, and we ask for this guy to die, right? We must do this. So we probably have like, you know, hey, Wayland, can we like request close of this surface? So can we say this is like a renderable? And we have like this. I guess it's the surface, yeah. Okay. Okay, so this guy doesn't have a request close function, but we can give him one. And I guess maybe this is not request. This is just literally like fucking like close surface. Okay. And I don't really know what this does yet. But it's got to do something, right? So let's look at the Wayland spec and figure out how we are supposed to close these things. Do we just like, can we destroy them for our end? Doesn't look like that's really allowed, but maybe on the XDG surface associated with this thing? Close? There's an XDG top level close. So that's probably what we're looking for. So this is kind of interesting because this means that the surface ID is not the thing that we need here, right? We kind of need like the top level ID. right? And then we can kind of be like XD, we can call like self, or like get XDG top level, which I don't think exists yet. Okay. And does not have an XDG top level. Okay. And this returns a top level. I don't really know what these top levels look like. Window. Okay. So I guess that's kind of what's happening here. Okay. Um, I think we need like a new reason here. I think we need to say like if, you know, we fail these things because we asked for them from internal you know, no, I changed my mind. This is literally just like self windows get. This function doesn't need to exist. That's what I've decided. So it's like self windows get pointer maybe. I mean the window can technically refuse to close if there's unsafe work. No, yeah, I think so. So I think it's like if we can't find this thing, we log an error probably. Failed to find window for ID this. Okay. And then we'll return, so this is the window. And here we want, I guess we don't even have to like look up our state, to be honest. All we have to do is like rip that shit somewhere, right? Where we say like top level interface. He's like, hey, I'm a WL top, XDG top level, you know, with this top level ID. Wow, look at me go. And then we can just like fucking emit a close event on this guy. What does he like say? It's literally just nothing. So then this just like goes out to the network to the client, and the client will like maybe close this thing. And we should assume that he will do all of the necessary things on his end to shut us down correctly. That seems reasonable to me. Can one program have multiple windows? Probably. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so now we have a problem where it's like we don't have like this information of a window. So maybe here we say which window he's associated with as well. Maybe. Not sure, but maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Sure. And so now when we like make these guys, we need to say which window he's associated with. Which is fair. Okay, and then somebody's gonna be mad that when we try to do this, he's like, what the fuck? So in this context, when we have a surface, do we like know who he's associated with? That'd be kind of cool if we did. Surface. No, he does not know that right now, but he should somewhere. Because I think that when we create these, we have to tie, like, somewhere we say, like, make top level, and that's, like, where this thing comes from. Get XDG surface, and then on the XDG surface, we say get top level. So that's how we know. Right? So here, when we call get top level, you know, I think here we say now your top level ID is this guy. Write that shit down. And then this guy needs, you know, top level ID is maybe one of these guys. Null to begin with. Maybe. Can a surface have multiple top levels? I do not think that's allowed. I think you can only set it once. If I remember correctly. Okay, so now we should just be able to be like, if we have this thing, we want to look at like surface, top level ID, and then if we are trying to commit this thing without a top level ID, we just don't put it in yet, I think. So how do we decide if we need to do this? If committed buffer handle. So this is only set here. So here we can say like top level ID is surface top level ID or else break. Right? So we just give up if we can't get it. And then we'll try again later if they set the top level ID after. Seems kind of reasonable to me. All right. Oh, let's fucking go. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Let's fucking go, dude. Let's fucking go. That's not bad at all. Yep, so this is related. Boom, boom. Yep. I guess we should probably try to style this thing just a little bit better. A little bit better. So let's do something like, maybe it's like red and then hover red or something, right? Right, we can kind of have it be like, what, like that usually, and then like go up when it's hovered or something. It doesn't really fucking matter. Yeah, I think that's kind of right? So we just kind of go brighter. We can go all the way to right. So it's literally just like hex 3.0 to like something else. Yeah, okay. Sure. So in rendering, where do we set the like border color or something? We'll just put this neck const close default color. So what was our like fucking 2D, which is 45. Sure. I don't give a fuck, dude. Something like this, and then close hover color. And we just fucking like crank this shit up to like, you know, somewhere up here. I don't give a fuck. So wherever we have that like fucking white, wherever we fucking threw that in the rendering section, this is like, if close hovered, which is like, this is if the mouse, I guess it will say like, we need to check as we're ripping through these things, I guess like which one we are hovering. You know, so you can kind of do like something like this. And then we can say close hovered is equal to like hover found and window border close quad contains so first we need to say like this window hovered is if hover has not happened yet, and window border contains the cursor position. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do this. And I think we want these as I32s. I think. Oopsies. Oopies. Okay. Something like this. So we like have this thing for each guy. We check if, you know, this contains cursor X and cursor Y. Then if this is like this window hovered, and contains, and the close quad contains this thing. Really, the window border contains should return this thing. He should, like, window border contains should say who he fucking collided with, right? So we can kind of move that, like, compositor state thing that find clicked window, right? We can kind of, like, move this into, window, the geometry thing. So we can kind of say, like, contains here. So we take in our like window border, and we take in a like X and Y, right? And he returns this like location, right? And so he kind of does this stuff where he kind of goes in order of each of the areas that he cares about. And if he returns that thing, then he like returns close here, right? Here, if he finds title, if he could, he's in the title bar, he's like return title bar. And then here he's like return surface if he's in the rest of it, right? Which is wonderful. Okay. And then this logic that was doing this before can just say, if window border contains this guy, we are in like a location, and then we return this. Boom, easy peasy. And now we can reuse this logic in the renderer when we're checking if we're hovering the close button. Right? I think that makes sense. So now we can be like, if we have not already found a hovered window, then we're still fair game. If we have this thing, you know, if we found somewhere, then we definitely have like we're like hover found is true, and close hovered is also true, right? No. Close hovered is location equals close. There we go. This is getting somewhere reasonable. Then we kind of like the close color is if close hovered, we're on the close hover color, else we're at the close default color. That feels kind of close. Right? That seems like something that might kind of fucking work. Okay. Int from float, my bad, wrong way. Alright, let's see. There we go. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it definitely is working. That like I kind of want to like bring in the ranges, right? Like 100 and 120 or something. 130. Let's try that. That feels good. I mean, if the background weren't like hot red, this would be a lot more reasonable. And also, this is like placeholder, so it doesn't really fucking matter. But like, I think that's like pretty good, right? Boop, boop. I don't think that's that bad. I don't think that's that bad. Okay. 140-ish. Let's see, how hard is it to do mouse input? So somewhere, someone must be waiting for this. So on like the seat, we have WL Pointer, this guy, and here, all we have to do is emit a motion event if we are in the thing, right? So we already kind of know where the cursor is. So we should be able to be like, when we are notify cursor movement, we probably want to do something similar here, where we hit test probably only if we're not dragging a window around. We probably do something like, we get like sorted handles again. Something like this. And we like iterate them all. So like 4 handles. We have like some handle, and we do like a, you know, this feels like a function we already have. Find clicked window. This is like find hovered window, I guess, instead. Okay. If we succeed in this thing, you know, we switch on the location that we found. And if it is surface, we do something, right? So if we if we do this, hello? Why is he mad? Oopsies. Wait, what's the problem? What's the problem? Expected type void found this thing. Oh, because this thing can't fail right now, so we need to make him failable. Okay. So we're back to this guy now. Oh, it's actually notify cursor movement. Oh, it's fine. So notify cursor movement also needs to be tryable, which I think will fail over here, which is fine. This guy also needs to try. When dark light mode? Yeah, I don't know. Probably never. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be themable. Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? So here we probably want to be like, all like, you know, renderable storage get of the hovered handle. And we want to look at like the source info here, and we probably want to say something like notify cursor movement, cursor position, right? And here we convert the cursor position into like surface local coordinates, right? So maybe this hovered window thing, maybe this like location, is like, maybe he returns where in local coordinates. You know what I mean? He could do this. You know, he could do something like this. And then here, we would do return surface is like this. You know, we give him some X and Y shit. And this is like X minus, I guess it's like this window trim. Like this. Boom, boom, boom. And I guess like this. We go minus left. And minus top. But we have to be a little bit careful here because the window trim includes the trim size. So I think we do surface. Okay. Instead. And then when we look for window trim, wherever the fuck, on contains, we need to be looking at the surface area quad. Okay, then we can go from the surface quad left and the surface quad top. And then this will give us our X and Y position. So wherever the fuck we are using that, we can kind of say, hey, let's look at our position here. And we will notify this guy. Pause X, pause Y. Easy peasy. And now all we need is a fucking notify cursor position, baby, on the connection. Which should be kind of like this, right? So notify cursor position. And where is this thing on? This is on a WL pointer. WL pointer. So where does this come from? We definitely, when we call set cursor, that's for a surface. How do we like map these things? I think we like get a seat. There's a WL seat who makes get pointer. How do we get the seat? The seat is probably like a global interface. How do we bind the pointer to a surface? I think it's something about like the active surface. I think there's like a enter. There's enter and leave. Interesting. So I guess here in our compositor state, it feels like it makes sense for us to just say, hey, look, man, you are on this surface at this location, right? This kind of makes sense from his perspective. And then I guess the connection is kind of in charge of determining which surface a pointer was on and like emitting the correct enter and leave events, right? So I guess also I think we might enforce that there's only one pointer. Because I don't really know how somebody could ask for multiple pointers. That doesn't really make sense, right? This request only takes effect if the seat has a pointer capability or it's had in the past. It is a protocol violation to issue this request on a seat that has never had the pointer capability. So what happens if I call get pointer twice? Like, what is the expectation there? I guess maybe instead of assuming one, we just rip it on all of them? That seems kind of reasonable, right? So maybe we have pointers here, right? And we kind of like attach these to a pointer ID, and for each of these guys, we have some sort of like pointer state, right? And I guess what we will keep with this thing is we will keep like the current surface that we're in, right? That seems like relatively reasonable to me. What a trash protocol. Sorry. It's not my fault. And that's fine. Okay, so when we construct one of these guys, okay, first of all, we need a pointer ID. Pointer. Okay, and someone must. Who calls get pointer? So on WLC, we actually don't handle this at all. So if someone calls WLC, and they call get pointer, we must say, hey, let's say that this is a pointer interface. Cool. And also, let's put this thing in here. Okay, something like this. Something like this. So here we're like put this thing in here. And I guess his initial surface state will be null, right? He's not really in anything. Okay. So first of all, I'm not really sure if this is ever called. We do have get pointer in here. Cool. So somebody does call this, which is wonderful. And so we put this in here. Wonderful. Then when we have notify cursor position, this is going to have a surface ID, I think. And I think we're just gonna rip all of the pointers, right? So we go like var pointer iterator is all of the pointers that we could have in the world. While we can iterate these things, we have some item, and we emit on this interface. So we have like item key is the pointer ID. So we're gonna say like interface is a WL pointer with this guy. Now we're gonna call interface dot enter if the surface ID is not equal to the current surface. Okay, so here this is a little bit confusing because this guy's like an optional of a strong type. So can we do something like is in surface with the existing WL surface ID, right? Boom. And here we'll say if self current surface is null, return false. If then we can say I guess we can do like current surface is self current surface or else return false. Then we could say return current surface is equal to surface, and we have to do inner checks on these because they're strong types. Perfect. So now we can do something like if item val is in surface already, then we do something. So I guess it's like if it's not, we emit an enter, right? So it's like if this guy has a current surface, we have to leave him, right? Unless enter is allowed to be emitted without issuing a leave on the previous. Notification that the seat pointer is no longer focused on a certain surface. Yeah, so we do have to do both, it says. So we go interface, leave. You know, this guy. Serial. What the fuck is the serial number for? What the fuck is a serial? What if we just do 0? What if we just do 0? I guess maybe we can assume that these can just be like monotonically incrementing per pointer. You know? That doesn't seem like super insane. Fix me. Don't just make up what this is. It's that you can respond to server events. Serial parameter must match the latest. Yeah, sure. So if I'm like setting the cursor, sure. Okay, whatever. So this is gonna be like item val serial, and I assume that these serials have to match. I think every enter is like a new serial, and then the leave notification is like related to the previous enter serial, I guess. Client has to tell you. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like they're saying that I think on enter, every time we enter, we increment the serial, I think. And then when they want to call stuff, they have to check that we're like, hey, we're talking about the same thing here. That would be my guess. But we shouldn't just make it up. But I will just make it up for now. Okay. So then we enter this thing. We do this. Increment this thing a little bit. Does my ZigAmp client work on your window manager yet? I don't know. I could try it though at some point. That sounds kind of fun. That does sound fun. I'm not gonna try that right this second. But it does sound kind of fun. Okay, and then this is surface X is like this. So this needs to be like WL fixed from F30 from I32 maybe. We don't have this yet, but we do need to figure out how to make it. So let's figure that one out. So looks like we just multiply it by 256. Looks like it. Looks like it. We'll see if that like gets mad at us later. Okay. I made this up. And then otherwise, I guess we kind of do this. This is going to be like an else. If this, else this. And if we're already in the surface, then it's just like motion, right? Surely. I think this comes first. Okay, and what does his motion look like? Time, surface X, surface Y. Fuck off. What's this thing about? WL pointers. Like, if you have more than 4, I don't know, pick a sane number. Like, we should never have more than like a few, like 1, I would think. I would think, but I don't fucking know. I don't know, man. You're not the boss of me. Alright. Unsupported field. WL fixed needs some serialization logic. Which I assume... I'm sorry, why do these just change size? I don't know what this is doing, but I mean, sure. I'm sure that there's a reason. Okay, here we go. Surely this is what we're supposed to do here. Surely. 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 That's right. But we are just making it up, but also whatever. Oopsies, I clicked that button again. Is it like this? I can't remember what I called it. Integer seems right? Okay. It'd be kind of crazy if this worked. Not in any way that's like observable here. But that doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that like we're not doing well, it doesn't mean it's not I don't know, it doesn't mean something. Motion? No, I don't see anything about motion in here, which is concerning. Did we call this function? I guess we need to flush the writer. But I'm also not really convinced that this function is called. It is supposedly. So we say notify cursor position. If we're here, we like check if this thing collides with the surface. And okay, we need to do like std debug print cursor pause times smile. Like, what is this happening? Boom, 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 boom. All right. Cursor pause time. Okay, so this does exist. This is happening. However, we do not see any logs indicating that anything's happened. But I guess we are not looking at sent. We are we're actually only logging received. So that's maybe related. Okay. 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 Okay, so this is working to some extent. He is only sending enters though, which seems wrong. I think we must be forgetting to update the like active surface. Right, we forgot to do item val current surface is equal to surface ID. So then hopefully we start sending motion events. What the fuck? Sending enter. Are we sending motion ever? No. Like, what the fuck? If is in surface with the surface ID, then we send motion. Otherwise, we send leave on the current surface and enter, and then we enter the surface. So this, if there's no current surface, we return false. Otherwise, we return that they're equal. Okay. That seems fine. Sending WL. Sending WL pointer. Yeah, what the fuck? Do we have the cursor pause time? We do. So this guy's just sending nothing. What the fuck? I guess maybe there might be no pointers. Could be something like this. Cursor pause time. 0 pointers. Okay, here we go. Wait, here we go. Eventually, we do see 1 pointers, and we start seeing this thing move. Okay, so that's a good sign. I would like to see us be able to get to something close to 0 if I go up to the top left corner. You know, just like over here. Okay. Wait. Oh, no. Interesting. Wow. This is very confusing. It's like nothing is happening. Like, we have no pointers for the vast majority of everything, no? Like, what the fuck? Interesting. Okay, so we're missing something here, right? I guess we should log here. Is this wrong? Alright, stood debug print on surface at pause this, okay? Like, is this hitting? Else not on any surface. All right. Okay. Can I do tail swim grep? Hold on. What do you say? Surface. We grep surface. Okay. So we do think that we're on the surface at like a reasonable position, right? We are seeing logs of like on surface at position, right? So that's good. But then on surface at position. But then he thinks that there's 0 pointers. Right? So that's kind of interesting. That like the GLFW window doesn't know that he seems to have like lost the pointer maybe. Which is also super confusing because I don't ever like handle destroy of these things. So like, it's almost like my client is adding the pointer, but the GLFW client is not. Because we are not advertising the capabilities correctly, probably. Yeah, we're missing this. We are missing this. So on WL seat, we need to, when someone binds to the WL seat interface, we need to start like fucking emitting these capabilities. Probably. So here it's like, if param's name is equal to seat or something, we probably have to start ripping that shit. Probably. And so here we emit some capabilities. And it's like, we support pointer, I think was what that said. Yeah, one is pointer. One is pointer. All right. Okay. Okay, so bad news bears. Invalid WL buffer 55. So we got mad about something. Something there. Let's look for 55. Error. Okay. That's not good. Oh, wait. Oopsies. This is us. I want this. Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on, hold on. Restart, 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 restart. Okay, now close. Okay, so what happens here? What happens here? We get a read failed at, you know, some sort of invalid buffer coming from WL display. What the fuck? Oh, here we go. Here we go. So we get mad because he calls SHM pool create buffer. Oh, and we don't handle that. Interesting. So because, oh, probably because we say we support cursors, he's trying to create a CPU rendered shared memory cursor thing, and we don't support that right now. So then he tries to do something with that, and then we freak out. Probably. And I don't want to support that right now. So we might be propagating mouse input correctly, but it's hard to test because just by the fact of us advertising cursor support, GLFW applications can't start anymore because they try to call CPU rendered create SHM memory handle. We don't support it. So I think that this is like kind of like a natural place to call it. I think that we got, you know, if we like look at what we actually do have here, you know, we did manage to add this like close button thing, which is pretty sick. So we can close windows now. We did also support window ordering correctly, right? So if we run 2 of these guys instead of one of the GLFW apps, you know, we can, oops, what the fuck? Hold on. Hello? Hello? Aren't we supposed to have two? Hello? Okay, well, we did implement this. I'm not really sure what's going on with that script, but we do have, a couple wins for the day. So, I think that's good progress. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, we stream most days 12:30 to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 4:15 now, so anywhere between 3 hours and 45 minutes ago, and now is when you should expect to see us live if you're watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a Twitch link in the YouTube description. If you're watching on Twitch, there's a YouTube link in the Twitch description. There's a YouTube link in the Twitch description. Yeah, they cross link. I don't know if I said it right. The YouTube has some amount of this stuff, so like this goes up on the YouTube. Some stuff does not because it's just too much if we put everything we stream. This today we were doing a little bit of cleanup of some of the like initial window movement code. We were doing some cleanup there. If you want access to VODs of that stuff, of like the stuff that we don't post, they go up on Patreon, YouTube members, or on Twitch if you pay in the appropriate spot. Yeah, we do that because, it's good to have some way to support the stream and to give you guys something back in return. Because like I run out of money, I'll stop streaming. So if you want to support the stream, Twitch Prime, YouTube members, Patreon, whatever. But obviously no pressure. I think that's all the plugging we gotta do. YouTube, peace out. Twitch, let's find someone to raid. Happy Saturday, everybody.